Y'all know I'm jamming in the back, jamming in the back.
Yes, I am.
Welcome to TCS Consulting. My name is Marissa Bloedoorn. I am the CEO. And this is Leadership Development, Organizational Development. And this month, we are focusing on women in the workplace. This Sunday will be Mother's Day. We're so excited. So we want to do a shout out to our moms in the workplace. Keep it up. You're doing a good job. Today, we want to give you some insight, some tips on how to navigate as a mom in the workplace. And so, our focus this month is on women, motherhood, impact, influence, and results, and empowering our young. As mothers, we are a role model to our offspring, to our children, and how we show up in the workplace with our career, our businesses. We are that role model. And so, we want to have a discussion that we pray will inspire you, encourage you, refresh you, rejuvenate you, and give you the tenacity and the audacity to show up and show out and take center stage and own it. So with me this morning is my girl, Jacqueline LuLu Brown, Revolution Ascension, and my other girl, Dr. Stephanie Reid. And she is the creator of the Unlocking Movement. And she's going to go in deep about her approach and how you can connect with her directly and get some of her services so that you can unclock. And we're going to start with LuLu and I. We just got finished doing an extensive amount of international traveling, and we want to talk about how we have to unclock, right? That we have to process what we've just experienced and what we've gone through. And we're sharing this not to share it to boast or anything like that. We're sharing the experience so that we could hopefully encourage you on how to step away sometimes. That when you do something great, when you're doing some of these major events, how it's important to take that time to recoup. And so, Jacqueline, you want to share? I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna let you share first about your experience, because you just went from leadership development in Dubai to ministry work in South Africa to business development here in the Dominican Republic. That's a lot. And you did that in what, a matter of 2 months? In fact, it was 2 months. And so share a little bit about that experience. And Dr. Reid, I'm going to have you come in and talk about the process and what she's experiencing right now. So, LuLu.
Thank you so much. I honor you, Dr. Stephanie, for being on the platform with you today. And thank you, Marissa, for keeping TCS Consulting always being out front, doing what it does best. So yes, you're absolutely right. I went through in Dubai, our retreat, and then ministry in South Africa, and then brought it around to business coaching in the Dominican Republic. So having said that, and I want to go with one of our themes a little bit around motherhood. And when you go around the motherhood piece of it, I think that we never lose that part of influence. We are influencers, and motherhood doesn't necessarily come from giving birth. So I just want to be clear with that. It is not about giving birth, but it is about the influence that you make from who we are at our core. And I say that's the divine feminine part of us. So there's motherhood in each and every one of us, and it comes out in everything that we do. And the world today will teach you to separate these things. Oh, you can't have anything to do with that, and this has to remain separate. But you're taking away from who we are authentically, who we were created to be. And the world at large loses out on those things, the gifting that we have, because we're trying to separate and we're trying to be this way in this circumstance, this way in that circumstance, when all we need to do is to tap in and allow what is so natural in our gifting and to just harness it, perfect it, let it come forth, allow God to manifest everything that He wants to manifest in all of that, and let that be across everything that we do. And so when I
Before
was
you,
in Dubai,
before you go in, I just
mhm,
want to capture that moment. It's allowed to be the whole of you. And
yes,
so we talk about leadership development and we talk about LMX, leader member exchange, right? So it's leader connectivity. The nurturing part of the woman is the connectivity,
yes,
right? And it's something that our male counterparts can learn from because what do they say? You get more bees with
Is it
honey.
honey?
So, right. So, I just wanted to tap into the importance of being the whole. Stop
yes,
separating like it's bad. Another thing is, I always apologize. It's not that I'm weak, it's that I give a darn. How about that? That's what apology says, is recognizes the value of the person who may or may not have been offended. There's nothing wrong with apologizing. Actually, it teaches us humility and humbleness. And so that's another thing. So I wanted to make sure that we got that point that you're saying we should be cool and okay with being the whole of how we are designed. When we come against that, we're out of whack. We're off kilter. And then we're
Mhm.
wondering why we're so emotionally unstable is because we're acting outside of our design. We're
Mhm.
designed this way and we're to show up this way because it's going to benefit the whole as well as us being whole. So I digress. I just wanted to make sure we bring that point home because it's so important. Stop adjusting. You adjust so much that you're just all out of whack, and then you're wondering why you're just all over the place and you're self doubting, you're self sabotaging. Is because you're not, and that's what owning is all about. You got to the kingdom suffer violent, but the violent take. You gotta force yourself to be yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead and be yourself because in that is the freedom. So I'm gonna be quiet.
no, you made a wonderful point there, excellent point. And as I went through those travels and not separating and actually just being authentic, you make an impact in areas that you necessarily didn't go to make an impact. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When you come through the lobby in the hotel in Dubai, and there are young men that are working there, it's a
Yes,
word while you're standing, it's general conversation while you are standing outside waiting for transportation. Now, you're there to empower women, but guess what? Your natural, divine female gifting that comes out in every conversation, and it should, because everywhere we go we should make an impact in somebody's life. I don't care if it's
Mhm.
someone that's carrying your bags or your luggage, or you may be walking through the airport, you may be having a conversation, a quick conversation with a flight attendant, someone that is at the counter. Everywhere we go, there should be something that we leave that someone knows that they've had an encounter with us. And that's what I enjoyed so much about this travel, is because everywhere I went, when I was in Dubai, when I was in South Africa, when I was in the DR, people knew, wow, I had an encounter with her. And they walk away with something that they can actually implement into their life. And that's the impact that we need to make in such a time as now.
yes, yeah, and letting them see that smile and that care. Care is big.
Yes.
Caring is big. Hugging someone, touching. There's nothing wrong with touching someone. If
Mm.
you touch them, you just need to make sure that you're touching them in an appropriate way. But touch their arm, like touch them. We've gotten away from that, and when we get away from that, it's that's where that coldness sets into place,
Mhm.
and that
Mhm.
separation, that lack of
Mhm.
care, and that's where it feels fake. It feels like you're not being genuine. I'm a toucher. I'm gonna
Me
touch
too.
you. If I'm laughing, I'm gonna hit you like this. I'm gonna.
A hugger.
I'm a hugger. I'm a big hugger. I love. Don't be hugging me all weird and distant. You better hug me. Hug me because you have no idea what someone's going through. You have no idea what's going on. But I'm going to switch us back over because what you said when you talked about having impact and talking about being in Dubai, the men grabbed our bags. They would not let us hold the bags. They are opening the doors for us. And we need to embrace that. We need to embrace that. We need to slow down, recognize it as a gesture of respect and care for the gentleman to say, hey, they carry all of your bags, LuLu. Another thing about the authenticity is you bring authenticity to the table. There's nothing that is not organic and authentic about yourself. That was on display in Dubai. I mean, even with the deep tissue work that you were doing in Dubai with the women, making them do the introspective work that was necessary, you kept it transparent. And in that transparency, again, in our faults, we are not weak. We're only weak if we make ourselves weak. In our transparencies and being vulnerable and being truthful is saying, hey, sis, you're not by yourself. And if we model this to our girls, our young women, our daughters that are coming up, maybe we will have better relationships as women. We show them that true love causes one another to flourish. That secret hatred and jealousy. The grass is greener on the other side. No, be thankful for what you have because you may be looking at me thinking all my stuff is great. You ain't in my house. You don't have a clue. I may need you. I remember sharing with someone, hey, I needed you to take care of me because I was going through. And instead you were focusing on your stuff. We need to be more sensitive as women to the needs and vulnerabilities of our sisters so that we can cover them, right? We want to cover, we don't want to expose you because if we expose you, we show the wickedness and the hatred in our own hearts. We want to be able to cover you, protect you. How we say, fix your crown, but fix it right. Don't be fixing my crown with a hidden agenda. Fix my crown right. And so you displayed that in Dubai. And so I want to shift over to Dr. Reid because I want her to be able to intervene because I've been saying to my girl Jacqueline, LuLu, I was like, girl, you got to process all of what you just went through. And LuLu was like, excuse me, but when is this processing going to be over? And so I want you, Dr. Reid, to start talking about that unclocking process and giving ourselves that space to say it's all right for me to take some retreat time and cut everybody the heck off of me so that I can come back fresher for the people that I'm called to serve. So talk a little bit about your program, how you offer that, and why it's critically important for what we've just discussed to take place in each one of our lives as women and mothers.
Well, first of all, I like to say, Jacqueline, it's so nice to meet you. Finally, I heard so much about you. Marissa, I always love to engage with you. We have these wonderful conversations and they keep getting more broad and expansive. So I'm glad that collectively we're expanding this conversation, especially when it comes to women and Mother's Day coming up. So I'm Dr. Stephanie. I'm a doctor of naturopathic medicine. I've been in practice for 19 years, and I'm also a wellness coach. And over the course of those 19 years, I found something very specific that's happening to women in an age group of 40 and above. And Jacqueline, when you were talking about owning your intuitive self, your power, your womanhood, that sounds great in theory, but you cannot imagine how many women don't know how to do that. And the reason is they don't trust themselves to listen to that intuition, that mother's wit, that biblical discernment. Because over the years, from when we were little girls, that part of us has been invalidated, right? Yeah. So you're saying, Marissa or Jacqueline, you could have said in your younger years, oh, that hurt my feelings. Girl, you're too sensitive. Mm-hmm. Or I thought that blah, 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 you're overreacting. And then over time, then you hear the worst one of all. Are you on your period or are you in menopause? Right? That one will make me, want to do bodily harm. Because that's the default for a woman expressing herself authentically. Mm-hmm. When the other person on the other side is not willing, capable, or compassionate to understand that that is a valid aspect of us that needs to be accepted and nurtured. When that is nurtured, then we can trust that intuitive nudge. Because the truth is, most of the women that I've come in contact with all over the world for the past 19 years, there is a hidden sensitivity toward insecurity. And so we dress it up. We pretend like we know what we're doing. We pretend that we understand how to interact in those beautiful places. But secretly inside, we're judging ourselves. We're judging our environment from the perspective of triggers from the little girl who's not been able to develop her internal guidance system.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, yeah, it's one thing to say, girl, you better own it. But if I'm secretly insecure, what am I owning?
Yeah, and that's the key. That is that, and it's about owning the insecurity. So for me, it's about, okay, I get it. It's not 1, 2, 3, but you got to start somewhere, and that means that you got to start owning your truths. That means that you got to have that serious conversation with self, and then have it privately. I have another one of our team members, Elaine Scales. She offers some online courses. Do it yourself. And so we were strategizing and talking. I said, sometimes people need to do programs where they're by themselves first, right? So they do your online course, Dr. Reid, by themselves. And once they start to get comfortable and they're processing it alone, where they know for a fact there's no judgment here because it's just me, right? Let me unpack by myself, because when I unpack, the room's going to be a mess. But once I got everything organized, then I can ask someone to come in. Now I got them decent enough to let someone in so that now they can help me. I get that. But to stay in Lodabar, that low place, that I don't get. That I don't get because you can get free. There's so much out here today that you can get free. And that's what drives me every single day, is to say, you are worth the going through the messy room and cleaning it up. You are worth the embarrassment first, or the shame first, because it does not last. Once you own that, no one can hold it against you.
Yeah. But you know what? We have not been taught that it's okay to go through the dark night of the soul, because in our community, there is this stigma about not having it all together. So we pretend that we do have it all together until we completely fall apart. And then people look at you like, what's wrong with you? I thought you was good.
The same group that you hanging out with. So that's the key. So we got to listen, expose the lie for the lie that it is. And so the same folks that you over there trying to make sure you impressing, and this is just a charge, is the same people that when you fall, 9 times out of 10, they're going to look at you and say, I told you so. Or, I didn't know that was going on. They'll look the other daggone way. And that's why you shouldn't compromise yourself to please them.
Right.
You should get yourself healed, delivered, and free, because owning it is about liberation. It's about freedom. It's about bucking the system and saying, I'm not conforming anymore at the detriment of my health, my well-being, and how I show up for myself in life. And not only just how I show up for myself, but my kids are watching. So we're talking about motherhood. My kids, do I want to leave this legacy of brokenness and shatteredness and secrecy? Do I want to leave this for them? If I know what I'm going through, do I want to leave this to my daughters? Hell no. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to fight. And my hope is that these kind of conversations will lead to that charge for them to join your program, to join the programs, get your community. It takes a village to raise a person, not just a child, a person, a marriage, a community. It takes us coming together, and you got to get with the right people. That's why I say, who's in your boardroom? You are the CEO of your life. Who's in your boardroom? Who are these friends you got around you? And start evaluating them. So that's my heart's conviction. So Dr. Reid, tell them how they're going to get to you.
Well, you're going to get to me through my website is drstephanieyhp.com. You can find me on Facebook with Your Healing Place. That's one of my pages, or Dr. Stephanie Reid. That's how you can find me. But the program that I offer helps women unclock their creative purpose, because guess what? You don't know who you are. I had a client that called me yesterday and she says, I've been diagnosed with high blood pressure, fibromyalgia, anxiety, and panic attacks. And I said, that sounds like a lot. And after we got through the issue, I discovered that her problem was she has no sense of self-identity because she's been living vicariously through her daughter for 18 years. And now that her daughter is going away to college, she's losing her mind. So the physiological manifestations of fibromyalgia and all those other things is an emotional disconnection from who she is, like Jacqueline was talking about. Know who you are, own it. But if you've given yourself vicariously away to being a mother, you have no idea who you are. You have no self-identity, and you will have an emotional come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
And so the unclocking process says, it's perfectly fine for you to be at this point, but don't stay here. Now that you're no longer a mother the way you need to be, you need to move into a phase of self-development, find your passion to get into your purpose. You flow into that after you find your passion, but you need to get with somebody that's going to help you unpack the stuff that you were scared to look at. But now you have the time, and it's coming up to rise. It's coming up to roost. Mm-hmm. And all the opportunities that you use, as we do as mothers, to use our children as the emotional scapegoats for us not dealing with ourselves, that time is past. And so now it's only you and you. But the problem with your development beyond this point is you only know the information that you have. You have no new perspective. You have no new insight. So just say, I'm going to do me now. What does that mean? You have no idea. So within my program, it's called Unclocking Your Creative Purpose. I teach you how to do that so you can live a fabulous life after 40. Because I'm telling you, at 56, I'm thinking, I wonder what 60 is going to be like. I wonder what 65 is going to be like, right? And so instead of, oh, it's menopause, and they said I'm getting old. No. Yeah. This is the time of your life when you're supposed to be going to Dubai and to Africa and to all the places that you've gone to, right? So unclocking says dismantle limiting beliefs. Align yourself with your truest, highest self and flow into that. But recognize you can't do that by yourself.
And give it and learn how to give yourself permission.
Yes.
Learn how to, as LuLu said, learn how to tap into your crazy genius, right? Don't listen. If you want to, parachute, if you want to rock climb, whatever it is that you want to do, and you say it in a group of people, in front of a group of people that you're friends, and they say, girl, you crazy? Good. I'm crazy. I'm doing it anyway.
Solo travel. I'm a proponent. Solo travel.
Yeah. And I speak my age. People, I remember being in a meeting, and an older woman, they brought me in a birthday cake, and one of the guys said, Marissa, how old are you? And I forget what age I was at the time. I wasn't 50 yet. I think I was like maybe 47, 48. And the guy says, what's your age? And the woman, she's considerably older than me, she says, Marissa, we don't tell our age. I said, yeah,
yes, we do.
I'm 40, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And so she looked, I said, yeah, because I'm not my mom's 50. I am not my mother's 50.
Hello.
My mother's 50 was not me. And
right.
So, and it's not that I'm not my mom's 50 because there's anything bad about that. It's just that my mindset is not where my mother's mindset was when she was 50 years old. It's just not there. And my personality is not the same as my mom's. And so we gotta shame the devil. We gotta shame the things that cause us to shut our mouths. No, if it's your truth, it's your truth. Yeah. So speak your truth unapologetically. You don't have to be nasty or rude to people, but be you. Because if you're not you, you're not living a fulfilling life.
Right.
This doesn't mean to be. This is not about being reckless. Because some women can get a little, haughty and all full of themselves. This is not that. This is saying that stop telling me what I can't do. Stop trying to regulate my grown behind, because I'm grown. And you want to call me grown. We want to talk about grown conversations, but we don't act like we are grown ups. I'm grown up. and I can do what I want to do. Like people say, well, why are you moving to the Dominican Republic? Because I feel like it. It's an opportunity and I took it. Excuse me, I don't have to explain anything to you. I'm not running from anything. I'm not doing any of that. I'm happy and I'm happy here. And I'm not living the life that you think or whatever it is you believe. I'm living the life that I want to live. And so people, my sisters, moms out there, I remember, like Dr. Reid said, when my kids were growing up, I've always had a life kind of my own with doing my own businesses, having my own agenda. I always had something that I was doing that was my own. And only because I wasn't the girl coming out of high school that was looking for a husband, a house, and children. That was not me. I was always artistic. I was always a go-getter. I just happened to become a mom very early and took the responsibility and said, hey, this is the path that I ended up going in. It wasn't the path that I was thinking of or the journey that I was envisioning for myself, but I've always been responsible. And I took the path and became that mom and wife. But I always had my hand in doing something that I guess I was called to do. I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, but it was. And so I still, even with having my hand in other things, had a moment, that empty nest syndrome, right? Like, oh God, they're leaving. They're getting ready to be gone. Now, now what? And I just so happened to have a strategy and a plan for myself. And it just fell into place. But if you, and I've seen women do this, if you had poured all of yourself into your kids, then that's why it is scary. Because if you have not cultivated any skills, if you have not allowed yourself to be stretched, being exposed to things that are uncomfortable, but will develop you and prepare you for what would be next for you, then that is a place where you need to have some strategy. You need to reconnect with yourself. And then find out what it is that you like. Do some exploratory work. I always say explore some things. Start looking at, we talked about last month, the SWOT analysis. Look at, as a mom, look at what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Look at where you are in your career and different things like that. Have it with the guide. Dr. Reid can help you guide through that process, through that unclocking. Have a guide so you don't waste any time, because we are older, so time is kind of the essence. We're not anxious about it, but time is of the essence for you to figure this thing out,
right?
And get yourself on the right path.
Yeah. Whew.
Yep.
That is, there is so much, and I love, Dr. Stephanie, when you say unclocking, and there's so much packed in there. And when you talk about how do people, we can say that, well, we need to do this, we need to do that, but how do you do that? And a lot of times it hinders when we're not transparent, when we're not sharing experiences, because people identify, whether, we can say, oh, nobody wants to hear what your personal story is, or don't make it all about you. Guess what? People are comfortable unclocking. People are comfortable when they can relate to you and when you can relate to them. And those shared experiences, it helps people to let down the guard, come from behind the shields and the mask. And when I think about the come from behind the mask, I think every person on planet Earth almost has done a workbook, a workshop. I know I've written chapters and books about it, but the difference being is that I actually let you know how living behind a mask and unauthentic, how it starts out. I learned to live behind a mask when I was 5 years old. It's a learned, taught behavior. I was 5 years old. And at 5, I learned to suppress, to put the better on the outside. And somebody say 5 years old? Yes, 5 years old. I was in pain about something, and I learned from the people around me that, you know what? You can't let that bother you. You go home and cry about that. at night, or you wet your pillow. And so it's a learned behavior. And we think we're being authentic, or we think we're being real, but the mask is still there. And then on top of that, when we're talking about making an impact in others' lives, well, we can't make that impact when we're giving people the superficial layer.
You got that
and
right.
We're not going and, revealing the ash and trash that we had to take off of our runway. We had to clear that runway of all that ash and trash. And if we're not being authentic, and I'm not saying that you put all your business out there. Some things are not, expedient. We know that, God's word tells us, things are lawful, but not everything is expedient. But what I'm saying is that there is a part of us that we have to be willing to let people know, I've been there, I've done that. And guess what? I really want to help you not to go through that. Because if we can help someone not go through all of the pain and all of the experiences that we went through, and sort of give them a heads up, give them a heads up. This is what's waiting for you. So you might want to take a detour. Give them the details, because you ever see a sign where it says detour, but you don't really know where's the detour.
They're going to take you.
If you've ever seen that, and then you make that right, and then it's like detour. And I'm like, okay, well, where the freak are you detouring me? It's like, and now I'm in this place that, I don't know where I am. And I'm like, okay, detour over this bridge, detour down this street. So when we're giving people, these detours so that they don't experience a lot of the pain that they don't have to, if they're willing to address it in the beginning, but you have to give them a roadmap of how to navigate and where the detour is taking you. So, I love what you're saying. And I'm focused on this unclocking. So we will have a conversation after this, because I love the way that you're describing it. And as you can see, I'm a passionate person. I love anything that we can do to help women. But listen, I also want to help myself, because I tell people, and I say this to our viewers, we didn't wake up like this. We didn't just, it wasn't Puff the Magic Dragon and we woke up like this one day. This is, and I heard a minister say, I know my robe will fit me well because I tried it on at the gates of hell. And you know what? We tried our robes on at the gates of hell. We paid a price for what we were willing to go through to get to where we are now. And we're still growing. So I love the fact that, there's something that we can unclock that maybe we don't know is there. So I like the fact that none of us get to a place where we can't learn anymore. The day that I don't find anything that I can learn from, well, I'm going to ask God, why am I still here? I need to be caught up. If I'm still here, there's something for me to learn. There's something for me to do, something for me to accomplish. Those things, if I'm still here, those things are still on the agenda to get done.
And you're in agreement with getting them done. So it's always two in place. So I want to backtrack. One, we have been conditioned. So this whole process from 5 years old, you have been conditioned to wear that mask. It's when we come to a place of that aha moment or revelation that I'm done with this, that we buck back and we take the mask off and we said we're going to deal with whatever it is that we got to deal with. But we've been conditioned by our environment, and that environment has influenced us internally to accept some of those lies and some of those conditions as our own and our truth. But I want to go back, and I really want to tap into what Dr. Reid talked about. When we wear these masks, when we allow these things to occur with us, and we don't do the work that's necessary, it manifests itself in illnesses. And what I really love about what you do is that you connect it. You connect the illness with what the person is allowing to happen in their life. And I say allowing because we are doing that. We can stop it, certain things we can stop. And then there are other things that we may not be able to stop, but we can learn how to be more effective in securing our own well-being as we deal with them. So I want you to share about what the work that you do is not just about the psychological thing, but it's also the manifestation of physical illnesses that start to manifest. Because this is why this is so important. This is not just about feelings. This is about how you are allowing these things to happen, and then we're wondering why we're balding. We're wondering why our skin is irritated and why our stomachs are messed up. It's because of we're not processing our stresses right. We don't know our triggers. We don't know what makes us, we lack self-awareness. So we don't know what makes us tick and what ticks us off. We don't know how to effectively navigate through this thing called life based on our design. And there is a method to the madness. And Dr. Reid, you have that. And so that's why this is bigger than just, we're talking about mental, we're talking about the whole. We're talking about mental, mind,
spirit, mind, and body,
and how we show up, behavior, how we see things, that how all of this ties together. And if we become self-aware and we begin to love ourselves enough, we can dismantle all of this mess. So Dr. Reid, close us out with your closing thoughts.
So let me just kind of put this out there. I've been doing what I do for 19 years, but I've also experienced so many of the same things that the women that I work with. There is this level of dedication and commitment to get you through. Like Jackie said, I've been where you are so I can take you to the door and through the door, right? The time is over for us to build these relationships based on trauma bonding. Girl, yeah, me too. But not me too when you haven't healed, right?
Right.
Haven't healed, right? Other than that, don't dump your stuff on me to tell me your story but there's no antidote, right? And so we have to make that distinction, how we're going to share our stories, who we're going, and what is the purpose for sharing our stories. So what I do is when a person calls me, I spend a full hour with them absolutely for free, which is usually $500 for my corporate clients. It's free because I want the clients to be able to express themselves authentically so I can show them the road of how they got to where they got to. So for instance, when I was working with the lady who called me and says, look, I have hypertension, I now have fibromyalgia, I have anxiety attacks, blah, 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 blah. Well, hypertension is anger, right? You're angry, your blood is boiling. Fibromyalgia says that you're at war with the entire world and you feel like 1,000 daggers are coming at you and you feel it all over your body, right? If we bring it down to layman's terms, you've heard anybody say, I was so scared I almost peed on myself. What you're saying is the energy of fear is in my kidneys and in my bladder. That's traditional Chinese medicine 101, right? When you have problems with carpal tunnel and your hands, that's you have a problem with giving and receiving. If we are not unclocked, meaning we're not living beyond our biological clock, meaning creating with our womb and nurturing that baby, if we have not moved beyond that, then we are energetically overloaded by giving ourselves away and absorbing all of the energy from all the problems that we don't have boundaries for. So you will have thinning of your hair. It's like, I'm so frustrated, I'm pulling my hair out. That's why our hair is falling out. When you have pain in your shoulders, that means you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And when you have a sore throat, that means you're not speaking your truth. It's directly tied to the throat chakra and also your thyroid gland. So if you're saying, I can't lose weight, blah, 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 your thyroid gland may have slowed down so significantly because the energy in your throat chakra is slowed down, and you'll know it because you'll be cold all the time, cold hands and feet when it's warm outside. You'll have dry hair, dry skin. If you're still cycling, your cycles will be extremely heavy, and you'll have a hard time falling asleep. You'll have type 1 insomnia. So this is how this disintegration of spirit, mind, and body will manifest physiologically. So most women at our age group, they're saying, well, I'm having this problem, I'm having that problem. Well, Dr. Stephanie, the doctors can't figure it out. And I go, well, what are you afraid of? Well, what do you mean I'm afraid? Well, you got a kidney problem. That's fear. What are you giving too much and not receiving? Well, yeah, I give it. And every time somebody tries to give you something, you say, oh no, that's okay, right? It's all good. That's a giving and receiving problem, carpal tunnel all day long, right? When you have a problem with your lower back, it means you don't feel supported. If you have a problem with your legs, it means that you are afraid of moving forward. The jobs of the leg is to ambulate forward, consciously and spiritually moving forward in your path. I'm afraid to grow. Right. So when women come to me with these physiological problems, I boil it right back down to what's in your spirit and what are you thinking? What are you speaking out of your mouth? And again, this is not something that most people understand. They understand the socialization of what wellness is. My arm hurts, my back hurts. I need to change my diet. But guess what? You don't know what a good diet is for you because you haven't had analysis to understand your own biochemistry. And so a lot of people go, I have a good diet. And I'm going, okay, but I have hypertension. I have this and then I'm like, well, then you don't have a good diet. Right? Because your body's objective is to break things down to its smallest components and use the macronutrients for repair. So how I address the physiological issues, I immediately put someone on a detox program and a hair tissue analysis. If you get your car oil changed every 6 months or every quarter, and you've never done anything for your body, you can't expect to have health emotionally, spiritually, or physically because you're too polluted. If you have not unclocked yourself, meaning disconnected yourself from what you thought you were doing with your biological clock, and that time is over and you're still in a land where you should no longer be, even scripture says there's a time and a season for everything. If you're in a season and a time and doing something way beyond its capacity, then you're now ineffective in that role. So that's why unclocking is significant. And I'm saying unclock yourself from your understanding of what you did with your biological clock and move on to the passion and purpose for which God gave you breath for. But if you don't unpack all that stuff, those limiting beliefs, that inability to understand discernment, that misalignment with what you know and what you don't know, and be willing enough to take a mask off and go, you know what? I don't know. I need help. Then and only then can you rediscover who you were meant to be so you can just float into your purpose and have this fabulous life the three of us are having, right?
Yeah.
At least at this moment. I don't know what happens when we turn the camera off, but
listen, we are, I'm living.
I'm living.
I love my life. Like,
me too.
I love my life. I can look at other people and say, oh, that's great, but I don't want anybody's life. I don't want anybody's body. I don't want their figure. I like my figure. I just got to work on it. But, I don't want any. And when you get to a place where you're not coveting anyone else's anything, you are free. You're not looking at someone else and saying, well, she got that, or so-and-so has that, and why don't I? I'm good with what I have.
That don't fit me. That's not good for me. That's good for her. That's not good for me.
No. And you're happy for someone else to have, even if they have more than what you have, that you're happy for them, genuinely happy for them. That's freedom and liberation. Yeah. And that's where I believe, and that's where when you get to that point, social media will never be your problem, because you can look at people's life all day long and say, oh, that is so sweet. Check that like. And I don't like anything. I love it because
and keep going.
Keep like is mediocrity. Love. I love it. Yeah. I don't want to like anything. I don't want something to be great. I want it to be wonderful.
Awesome, right? Phenomenal, unstoppable. Those are my words.
You keep that other stuff. So that's what we really want. We really want to lay down our lives, because like Maslow's hierarchy of needs says, at the 4th or 5th level, that is self-actualization. And self-actualization is not about being perfect. It's not about achieving all the maximum things that you can achieve. Self-actualization is falling in love with thyself as thyself. That's
being able to take imperfect, consistent action and learn on the fly. Just do it and learn something and keep going.
And keep it moving. And when you reach self-actualization, he argues that it feels so good that you got to go back and you got to get some other people free. You got to get that's what he says. At the level of self-actualization,
Yeah.
it is so liberating that you just gotta go back and you gotta tell other people and encourage them. And at that fourth level, remember, the fourth level is conformity.
Yep.
The fourth level is you want to make sure that everybody's pleased with you. And most people stay at that level because they're so busy worrying about their group, their class, their culture, and they forfeit themselves. But at the fourth level, when you buck and say, I refuse to conform, that is not what I want to be, and you say, I'm going to be me, that's when you self actualize.
There
When
you go.
say, I'm out. See ya.
Yeah. See ya. Yeah.
How they say, see ya, and I wouldn't want
to be ya.
So with that being said, we're going to close out. We're going to be here all month long talking about motherhood. And the reason we want to be liberated, the reason why we want to self-actualize, we want to get our lives right, is so that we can model before we leave this earth the way that our young people can grow, be free, and prosper in good health, mental stability, mental health, wellness. They feel good about themselves. They feel strong. They know who they are. They know what they're about. They know where they got that from, and that they have a foundation that is unshakable. That's what we want to get our lives back so that we can empower our young. And so, ladies, I love you. Can't wait for us to come back next week. Shout out to all the moms out there that whether you gave birth biologically or you have influencing from an auntie, a surrogate mom, whatever position that you have blessed some young people, we want to say to you, happy Mother's Day. May the Lord continue to bless you, shine his face upon you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out. We love you. Have an amazing week.